Western Conference time. We're playing a lot. We're playing a lot of catch up because, like I said, we've been so focused on NCAA basketball that we haven't caught up. So let's start with again the surprising team in the two surprising teams in the West are the top two teams. The Utah Jazz at 30-11, the best team in the West. How?
Yeah, I don't think anyone really saw that one coming.
I mean, they're supposed to be good. We knew they'd be good, but number one in the West?
By a sizable margin.
It's only 2 games.
I mean, Utah was rolling at the beginning of the year. They were like, what, 27-7 at one point or something like that? I mean, they were going absolutely bananas. I mean, they're still in first by 2 games. Where did the Suns come from?
The Suns were second in the West going into the All-Star break.
Oh, well,
The Suns have been second in the West for a while. Suns have been second in the West for a while, baby. They went 12-3 in February. That's good. That's good. That's good. Including a blowout of the Trailblazers, which I was at. I was at the game where they blew the Trailblazers out of the water by 30. That game was so much fun.
But yeah, Utah played well.
Utah played well.
The team right behind them too.
The Phoenix Suns.
Well, that's Stravinsky's team.
Suns are putting it together, baby. And the funniest thing is when we blew out the Trailblazers by 30. Chris Paul had 2 points and 8 rebounds and 8 assists. 2 points and 8 assists, and we won by 30. How much does that tell you about the rest of the team being good? Mikal Bridges is phenomenal as a 3. DeAndre Ayton is amazing. Obviously, Devin Booker is freaking Devin Booker. And then I think you have Jay Crowder coming off the bench. I still don't know why Jay Crowder's coming off the bench. I know DeAndre Ayton wants to play the 4. But if DeAndre Ayton plays the 4, that means our starting 5 is Frank Kaminsky. I don't want Frank Kaminsky being my friend Dylan. Dylan and I were just making fun of Frank Kaminsky the whole game. We're like, bro, why you got Frank Kaminsky out here over Jay Crowder? But they're a great team. And they look a lot better because the West just got a wide open right now because LeBron James out indefinitely with a high ankle sprain. While Anthony Davis is also injured.
Yeah, they have both the best 2 guys are both gone.
Not even their best 2 guys, like the entirety of their team. It's LeBron, Anthony Davis, and then everybody else.
Well, I mean, the Lakers do have Schroeder, other guys, so it's not literally just them, but they are.
It's a pretty hefty drop off.
Yeah, that's.
It's a pretty hefty drop off. So not looking great, but it's the Lakers. As long as they can get them healthy by playoff time, they should be fine. And then of course you got the Clippers at 27-16. They're the Clippers. Paul George has been playing pretty well. Kawhi Leonard is Kawhi Leonard. Serge Ibaka is a great addition to that team. Obviously they got pieces. They got some pieces. They'll be a good team. They'll be a playoff team, obviously. Probably contending to go to the Western Conference Finals, but knowing that the Clippers, they'll do something stupid and not make the Western Conference Finals because the Clippers are, for some reason, physically incapable of making the Western Conference Finals even when they have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And they're up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets. Still can't go to the... I don't get it. Speaking of the Denver Nuggets, Denver Nuggets are up next. Obviously, Jokic is having an MVP season. He is one of the best passing big men I've ever seen. He is absolutely amazing passing-wise. Obviously, he can score well. Jamal Murray's a solid enough player. He's obviously not bubble Jamal Murray. He's not dropping 50 a night, but he's still a very good contributor. Obviously, Gary Harris is decent. You've got just kind of Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap is great. Michael Porter Jr., as soon as he can learn to have a better shot selection, he can be great. He's definitely a shot chucker. He has a very high shot tendency, but he does knock down a good amount of them. So he's a great young piece. Probably one of the best young pieces in the league. And you got people on the bench like Monte Morris and all that. Just bench players. I was about to say Mason Plumlee and Jeremy Grant, but I forgot we have them now. But obviously Denver's a great team. So who am I forgetting? Monte Morris and someone else off the bench. Completely forgetting who I'm forgetting off the bench, but They're a good team. They'll be a playoff team. Easily. Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers. CJ McCollum's coming back. I think CJ McCollum is back from injury now, which is good. Damian Lillard is, well, Damian Lillard. You got the wild card and Hoodie Mello. You got Mello. You got Mello who's playing great. Rodney Hood is good off the bench. Obviously Enes Kanter is a little bit of a weakness. But honestly, again, a solidly built team. Obviously still dealing with injuries with Yusuf Nurkic, I believe, is still hurt, and I believe Zach Collins is still hurt as well. But a dangerous team.
Yeah, really the entire West is pretty wide open after honestly a top four. Because the Clippers, Lakers, Suns, and Jazz are all playing pretty well, of course. And then there's the Nuggets, Trailblazers, just a billion other teams that can get into the playoffs. Of course, there is the play-in game, which
we're talking about the play-in teams now. San Antonio Spurs at 22-17. Obviously, they look great. It depends on what happens with LaMarcus Aldridge to see how far their playoff push will go. But obviously, DeMar DeRozan's having an all-star candidate season. Obviously, he wasn't an all-star, but I think you can make a case that everybody that was above him should have been above him. But he was definitely deserving of an all-star vote. But obviously, Spurs are playing decent, playing great. Dallas Mavericks are way underperforming.
Well, they're in the playoffs.
I mean, they're in the playoffs. But 22-19, Luka's been going out of his mind, but nobody else has been playing great. The biggest thing is Porzingis is not.
Came back from injury and has not looked great.
No, Porzingis has not been helping. So that's pretty much why the Mavericks are struggling. And then you got the Warriors, 22-21. It's the Steph Curry show with, every now and again either Andrew Wiggins or Kelly Oubre decides to show up. Those two can make their own shot, make their own shots off the dribble, but can they make the shot? A lot of the time they can't.
There's Draymond Green.
Draymond Green.
There was one time at a halftime show where Draymond Green was talking a lot, was saying a lot of different stuff, and was trash talking a lot. And at the halftime show, Chuck was like, Draymond Green isn't talking that much anymore now that he's averaging a triple single.
And then James Wiseman's a great piece. Obviously, the biggest thing that I'm interested in with the Warriors is what are they going to do with the Minnesota Timberwolves pick? Are they going to trade it, or are they going to keep it? Because that's going to be a top 3. That's more likely than not going to be a top 3 pick. Because the Timberwolves, everybody say it with me, are garbage. But that'll be interesting. Or the Grizzlies. It's really, again, the Ja Morant show. Obviously, with Jaren Jackson Jr. being hurt. It's the Ja Morant show.
Still hurt.
What?
Still hurt. He
Yeah.
hasn't come back yet.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. With him hurt. That's what I meant. With him hurt. He's out. It's pretty much the Ja Morant show. Valanciunas is great, but they're alright. And now we get to our biggest underperformer, the New Orleans Pelicans at 18-24. How are you this bad? JJ Redick and Lonzo Ball are still playing pretty great basketball. You have Steven Adams. You have freaking big boy Zion Williamson. And you have Brandon Ingram. How is that 18-24?
Because they have Stan Van Gundy as their head coach.
I forgot about that. You're right. You're right.
That's the literal reason that they suck. Because Stan Van Gundy, for some reason, is their head coach. And my connection back here. Gosh.
You're good. You're still. Oh, that's I can still see you. Woo.
I'm trying to watch Kansas USC. This computer.
It's just dead. But yeah, no, I mean, Pelicans are underperforming. Thunder are overperforming. I mean, 18-24 with a roster that they were supposed to be falling off with is good. Al Horford's played good. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's played good. They've been good. They're not great, obviously. Not a playoff team, but they're not supposed to be. So, cool. The Kings. Marvin Bagley, what's up? Marvin Bagley, you want to maybe try? I don't know. He's probably trying. He's just not playing very well. And then, obviously, De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield are great, but this Kings team is nothing to show for. And, I mean, they are still coached by Luke Walton. I still wake up in a cold sweat remembering Luke Walton as a head coach.
Yeah, a little surprised to see the Kings down here. I mean, the West is pretty loaded with good teams, but there's a lot of teams in here that are also kind of underperforming, like the Pelicans and the Kings. Well, can we talk about the Rockets dropping 20 games in a row? Like, how?
You're supposed to be bad.
20 games in a row?
I knew the Rockets were going to be bad. But 20 in a row is not good.
20-game losing streak. Oh.
And one of those was to the Pistons, too.
Yeah, they're worse than Detroit now. That's the scary part.
And then, of course, the Timberwolves are the Timberwolves. They suck. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Yeah, I don't know how the Timberwolves are so bad.
They're
with
just
D'Angelo Russell and Colonel Anthony Towns. I mean, I know I don't even think either one of them have played a lot this year with injuries, but still surprised they're that low. As
Man,
also have Rick Culver, Anthony Edwards, and others. So,
but yeah,
they're a team, but just they're not good.
That's it for the Western Conference. So thank you all so much for watching. We kind of caught up. We're kind of going to figure out what we're going to do for the NBA here shortly. But thank you all so much for watching. But peace out.